This guy. He got in one of my games once, and I crushed him. It's like, here's your review, you son of a bitch. And then I dunked on him. Nah, I'm kidding you. Yeah, so this is Genji, 4.2k Ilios. This is Rakuna. He is a valued member of our community. He's a good guy. I've only fought him once in game, I believe. And it was a fun game. So we're going to see what he's doing on Genji.
Well.
Is that the Korean voices? So,
why is my team so late?
Your Winston's to the right. Or their Winston, I should say, right? That's where I heard him jump. Okay, this is beautiful. You need to get that.
No.
Perfect. I was going to say you need to... So that was... As any flanker, the key to any flank is as you need the team to be engaged. So let's just go back, and this is just like good Overwatch information. This is just good fighting information. So the problem is too many Genjis. They're like, fuck it, I'm going in, and the enemy is not properly engaged. So as soon as you attack here, they can all go, oh, let's just kill his fucking Genjis alone, and that's what they do. But if you wait like this, all of a sudden, there's now this battle, right? And everyone's attention is focused here. The Tracer takes great advantage of this and gets in the back lines. The Genji is exactly what I expect to follow up. Essentially, you have to wait for this conflict to happen, and then you can attack. As soon as you see this, though, once you saw the Tracer go in, I would be like, alright, fuck it, dash in, you need to get in there now.
No.
Which she does, perfect.
Alright.
Okay, just a little side note. If your entire team is attacking someone, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would actually push forward, get some information, get out some poke damage, figure things out. It was a Symmetra behind you guys. I think your Tracer and yada 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 could have handled it.
Nice.
Okay.
Welcome.
Now, I know they're going to not be looking behind themselves right here. Look to the right. Yeah. Good shots. So one big thing I see with Genji's, but, you know, it's 4.2k, so I don't expect him to have the same mistakes, is when they use mouse 1 and when they use mouse 2. Knowing that effective range. Knowing effective ranges with any hero is the most important thing to know. What to do at short, medium, and long range. And against specific types of heroes, too. This is the annoying shit Genji loves to do.
In your butt.
In his butt. As he said, that's exactly what happened. This is dangerous because you're flanking with a lot of people. Oh, good deflect.
Oh my god.
So
I could never find any. I was trying to find the angle to dash, but I could never find it.
let's just look at this again. Alright, so you lost one guy.
My genius is finally.
You lost 2 and 3. At that point,
Oh my god. I could never find any. I was trying to find the angle to dash.
so you're
but I could
already
never
down
find it.
half your team. I would actually not try to, most of the time, unless you see a really big
I was
opening,
retarded.
try to ult through that. At a certain point, you have to understand when the the battle has been lost. And I know alts can change the tide of battle, especially a Genji ult. But usually people will see that when like something's open. But if you're stuck in a closed-in area... Oh.
Yeah. Please, Mr. Winston.
Super good escape. If nothing else, it just made him use more time. Rakuna says, oh no, not this ult. Yep, that ult.
Oh, that's rude.
Oh, that'll help. She can't res that Pharaoh, by the way. That was actually a really good kill. You got her over the hole, so the soul will die. I think that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I just want to look at something really quick. Yeah, I mean, you're not pressured by anything else. I mean, that was a good deflect if he was going to do that. Well, yeah, that was good.
Oh. Left early.
And Think Dragon subscribed. Does nothing. Thank you for subscription. Thanks for being a crony. To the club. Hope you enjoy your emotes and whatever I give to you. Entertainment, knowledge, whatever. Irise says, 50 bits says, hi Chro, big fan. You're more rat than junk. I don't know if I'm offended by that or not. How long is this one? You're not just gonna win? Okay, good. My priority reviews, I skim a little bit less, but...
Nice stun, dude.
My genius is finally recognized.
Oh, that wasn't
Yep.
Chro. That was the Tracer.
I mean, I just think all around that was a little bit rough. You were pretty deep, and
My
once you missed your
genius is
dash,
finally recognized.
it was going to be very difficult for you to get dash reset. Okay, trying to get some poke damage off from range. You got stuck in the middle of the fight there, and you're going to get blindsided. So in this one, I'm actually just noticing your accuracy is a little rough.
Alright, we got a shield gen.
But you have a tendency to jump into the middle of the fray, which can be dangerous.
W2 has ult though. For sure.
Okay. Damn it all. Also, I'm noticing you're focusing the back lines tremendously. And I know that's like a flanker's job. But again, one of the rules in Overwatch, at least what I prescribe as one of the rules, is take what is given to you. Like, it's great if you can force something to happen. That's definitely a skill you want in Overwatch as well. But sometimes... Yes, like this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes a Winston will just get a little bit too greedy. And you can punish him. I mean, Genji does really good damage with his right click.
Oh, man, he was really charged. Kill me instantly.
Yeah, like, so if a Winston just throws himself at you, go ahead with your team. If you just right click him down. I mean, what? 2 right clicks? I think that's a second and a half. You can put what would it be like? Is 86 damage if all points hit?
My genius is finally recognized.
I think it's 86.
I hate Mercy.
So they had 164. No, my math's wrong. 172 damage. Yeah, 172 damage. That's nothing to fucking laugh at. It's good stuff. Yeah, take what's given to you. Attacking the back lines is important, but don't over-focus on the back lines. And I haven't seen you do it too much this game, but the last round, yeah, you were looking at it a bit. You were looking at the back lines pretty hard. Good, good, good. You got the fuck out of there. That Mercy's nimbly bimbly, but you did get her killed eventually though. New Mercy, I should say current Mercy, not new Mercy from the PTR patch. You won't have to focus her down that much, but the current Mercy definitely she is a prime target. Just don't over, and this is what I mean by don't over focus. Sometimes I know you get tunnel vision and stuff like that, but oh, good job. But be careful about, just be careful about tunnel vision. Like there's a place and time for tunnel vision. Alright, so I'm starting to notice you're right-clicking. You're definitely right-clicking when out of range. Good job. Okay, so that was all good. A couple times you're right-clicking when you're out of range. And I don't know if you're just looking to get one hit, or if your accuracy, you don't like you're not confident in your left click accuracy, so you're just going to throw 3 out, and if they stay where they're at, like the one's going to hit them, and if they dodge it, then you have a chance to get hit as well. Okay, that was a good. What I like about that was you kind of poked. You saw. I was actually worried that your eyes were going to get huge. But you didn't actually engage on it. Like, you noticed that, like, alright, if I go in there, that's a little bit too foolhardy. Alright. You did God's work there. Your team wasn't there, but... I mean, you got the Genji. The other Genji probably got ult refunded, but... Decent job. You got out the Mercy ult. Whatever, it happens. You just got to do it a little bit sooner. Again, it was kind of like another ult where you just did it after your team was dead. Is that McCree ult that I heard? Yeah, it was. That was a McCree ult. It was in Japanese or Korean or whatever language you have on. Oh, you played yourself. That's alright. Sometimes I right-click just to get info on enemy HP. Alright, okay, that's legit. This is Rakuna? Yeah, this is Rakuna. Yeah, this is YouTube. Yep. Oh, that could have been good. I think that was a fine ult, dude. That looked like an ult you wanted to crack the defense open with, and I think you were like... I'll just say I'll put it like this, and I don't mean to put this in a bad light, but a better player would have gotten a lot with that. So I think your decision was fine. It just you just missed a little bit. They take it? Okay. Bum bum bum. Not terrible though. Not terrible. Winston was still ulting. Yeah, I think that last Dragon Blade could have won you the game. You did get knocked away. That was very, very close. It was a good decision. I think you could have. It could have been big. It could have been big. So the only thing I really noticed about this is accuracy is so-so. I'm actually a little bit. I understand that you're right clicking to get information on the enemy, but I don't like. How can I put this? I don't like feigning an attack. Like, I'm not gonna shoot a grenade to scare someone. Maybe if I want to get out an ability like deflect or something. But like, if you're just right-clicking to try to gain the enemy's HP, like go for the more accurate shot. Go for the your left click. There's no point in just like doing a little bit of damage. You might as well. Sometimes you may just make a lot of damage. Sometimes you may get a triple headshot. And if anyone doesn't know, that's huge damage. I think it's like 100. I think it's 186 is how much damage a triple headshot would do. With Genji. Yeah, it's definitely something that's not to fuck around with. Meaning, if you're going to shoot. Don't worry about just doing a little bit of damage and then getting away. I think just doing 3 shots and then getting out is just as good as right clicking. I guess right clicking is a tad faster, but yeah, don't worry so much about feigning attacks and just getting information. Like if you're gonna get information, if I want to know if someone's skull is bashed in, I could slap him and feel if it's bashed in. But if I want to bash his skull in, then I'll just punch him. Right? And if his skull's bashed in, then I know because, I felt it. And if his skull wasn't bashed in, well, I bashed it in. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of feigning attacks. And your accuracy... It just leaves a little bit more to be desired, that's all. Positioning...
My genius is finally
There were a couple times I saw you in the middle of battle, and I think... I just want to say be wary. So the thing is Genji can go into the middle of a fight sometimes. And by that I mean, if Genji's here, he can get in and out with his abilities, deflect or dash. Both of those buy him time to essentially get out of a tough situation. The problem is deflect only works one way, so if you are truly in the middle of battle, I think it was round 2 I noticed this a couple times, there's just too many variables around. And it doesn't matter what character you are, it doesn't matter like what you're doing. The way I play the game is I want things to be simple. If you have variables all around you, this is a complicated this is a complicated problem. This is some calculus type shit. I like to make problems easy. I don't like solving difficult problems. That's ridiculous, right? You can't expect me to solve a difficult problem. I want to solve an easy problem. So it's going to be tough when you have to make the right call when you have all these variables, and some of them you can't even account for because you can't see them. right? But if you're just a little bit on the edge of combat, you're chilling around here, any one of these. All right, now you get a full grasp of what you're attacking. Yeah, so it's okay to be like on the edge of combat, the outskirts. You have tools to deal with it, but when you're in the middle and you have too many variables all around you, that can be death. That being said, good Genjis can dodge, you know, and get out of there, but you'll get there at some point. It's just very, very hazardous and just has low % chance of winning. Low % chance. That's all there is. The other thing with positioning, you seem to be favoring the back lines, which is cool. You are a flanker. And you should be worried about the back lines. Like, that's the easy targets, right? But don't over-focus it. We kind of talked about this a little bit during the review. Take what is given. Any hero, any flanker will need to be able to force a situation sometimes that's within your skill set. But don't always feel like you have to put everything on your own back and try to do it all yourself, right? Attacking the back lines, even if it's 2 DPSs, well, not 2 DPS, sorry. If it's 2 support heroes, sometimes they can whip your ass. Ana has a good self-defense kit. Zenyatta can land some shots all willy-nilly. Actually, a big thing against Genji is if you miss time a dash and you don't get a reset and a Lucio boops you, and you're just like, you're without your tools and you're kind of caught out. So that's tough. Yeah. So don't over-focus the back lines. If something is given to you, fucking take it and then go for the back lines. Watch the tunnel vision. Even that last round, you're playing Ringing Around the Rosie with the Symmetra, and there's a Genji on your ass the entire time just shooting you. It's times like those where you're like, all right, I should really stop chasing this guy. Let's reassign my target priority, because you're just running around in circles. Also, when you're on that point, right, this is the lighthouse point. This was the middle of midfield. Just look, you're running around this thing in midfield. There was someone following you, and you were trying to follow someone else. So what that means is that you were in the middle of 2 people. Again, multiple variables. It's rough dealing with that. I think your skill usage was good. I think you're dashing at the right times. Obviously, there's a couple times you misdashed. You misalted. But I think, by the way you've responded in chat, you've understood your mistakes on those ones. Like, everyone makes those fucking... I do some stupid shit. I do a lot of stupid shit, so I understand that. You actually did get you did decent deflects. You got a bunch of kills, I think. You got like 3 or 4 kills from deflects alone. You protected from the Deadeye. Yeah, I think those were fine. Your dashes were good. The ults that you were able to execute on were really good. You missed the one ult barely, but you had the right mindset. I liked all that you were doing. Information-wise, so you're at 4,200, and this is kind of the layer that I look at more than anything as a player, because I play an old man style. Meaning, it's a young man's game to jump in the middle of somewhere and just start shooting and headshotting everyone. I let someone put their face right there, and then I headshot them, right? I let things fall into place because I've seen it before. And it says, lately it seems I've always been having trouble fighting other DPSs, like Pharahs or Genjis or Tracers, or even tanks, where it can feel like if I go for the fight, it's going to take a whole lot of time and resource. I don't know. I'm a bit weird on who to focus. Things go fast. Yeah, no. It's... You got to start... Well, at the highest levels, you don't make... Like, there's just a thing you do. I don't even want to say you make a decision. It's just something that gets done. There's no hesitation, and it just happens. Like, it flows like water. Before that, you start getting into this issue where... This is the one thing good about Overwatch's SR system. So if your SR is at 4,200, you'll get put in higher and lower games. And this is fucking great. I can't express how good this is, and I know a lot of people are like, if I'm at 4,300, I should only play with people who are 4,300 or, above. And you're like, wait a second, what about the guy at 4,400? Doesn't he only want to play with 4,400 and above? What this does is essentially it forces a mentoring type system, meaning when you're playing down here, you're the mentor because you're going to be helping people that are at like 3,900. But then sometimes you're the student because you're fighting people at 4,400 who are better than you. So you get this nice mix of, this is what I'm going to go up against when I'm against people better than me, and this is what it's like when I have to mentor and help my teammates. The problem is at this 4,200 level, you start getting up to like 44, 4,500, and you start getting to really good players who just like whoop your ass, and you're like, well, fuck, there's definitely a ladder I need to climb to get to this last part. And this last part is kind of like edging out hesitation, and it's just kind of like having the correct mindset. How do you do this when you're like, all right, what's my target priority? When DPSs are a bit tough for me to handle, do I just focus supports? Problem is supports are way in the back, and I gotta go through these DPSs, and sometimes tanks take too much time. Just do what damage you can. The thing about Genji and Tracer is that they're very opportunistic. All the other DPS classes in the game, except for maybe Pharah and Junkrat, aren't very opportunistic. Meaning, if you're a Reaper and you see someone low health far away, they can't do shit about that, right? They're just like, well, I got shotguns, can't do anything. Junkrat can kind of do something. Pharah can kind of do something. But Tracer and Genji with high mobility, they can get to this weak target. And that is where their advantage lies. You have to start picking fights that are advantageous to you. As a Genji and a Tracer player. Like me as a Junkrat player, you notice I'm always on a flank, and that's because it's a closed-in area, and I want to draw someone in. I want to be like, all right, it's a Junkrat, don't worry about him, he's a piece of shit, I'm going to fight him. And then they get into a hallway with me, and they're like, well, fuck, this is the stupidest place I could have fought a Junkrat, and they die. You have to do this. You have to pull enemies into your strong areas or attack them when they're weak. That's all it comes down to. You're a high mobility hero, and Tracer and Genji have to use mobility to pick the fights they're strong in. Tracers do have a tough. They can beat. Tracers can beat anyone, but they do have some difficult matchups, like McCree's and whatnot. That doesn't mean they can't kill McCree's. They just pick the fight in a way that's advantageous to themselves and a disadvantage for the McCree. And that's how they deal with it. So you kind of got to start... I guess if you're saying this is the exact experience you're having at 4,200, you need to start figuring out what can you... I don't want to say what can you get away with, because that sounds like a really shitty way of saying it. But if you see someone away from their team, that's perfect for you. If you don't think you can take them head on, you can harass them. Remember, Genji doesn't have fall off damage. And if you do 100 damage to someone, if it's a DPS class, they're at half health. That's a huge fucking thing to deal with. Do what damage you can, but immediately switch your target after that. If you're like, all right, it's too dangerous to actually attack them, I'll harass them, and then I'll look for another target. And you kind of have to be constantly picking and choosing fights that you believe you can win. But what if there are no or near no openings? It can be extremely difficult to make on myself. I guess maybe I've been trying to make one myself too much, maybe. Yeah. So I do this. People have seen me play games like this where I'm they're like, Chro is being really, really dumb right now. He's doing really dumb stuff. He's overflanking. He's making really dumb decisions. And what happens is I've given up on my team. I've noticed what my team lacks, and essentially a switch has been flicked in my head where I go, my team cannot crack open this defense. I have to crack open this defense. Even if I work with the team, they will not be opened. I'm going to have to do something crazy. I'm going to have to do something incredibly skilled because we lack the skill to fight this team. That's actually what usually it is. And I'm going to have to do something fucking nutty as shit to carry this team on my back, break open the defense, and then they can come in. Then we can get the point. Once we have the point, then we have the defender's advantage. Something like that. But when it doesn't work, man, do I look stupid. And I bet you feel the same way. I bet there's been some games where you're like, I can't find a fight that's advantageous for me. I'm going to have to try to force something and it probably doesn't work, and you're just like, man, that was the dumbest thing I could have done. It's not wrong. It's just that sometimes it doesn't work. Because look, the game's not all based on decisions. Sometimes you get outskilled. That's all there is to it. There are times when there's a reason why skill's at top, right? And I've said this multiple times. It's because, yeah, positioning, logistics, information, all this stuff needs to be sound. Because when you run into someone better than you, if you don't have a better position and whatnot, you're going to lose. The problem is that a smart player is going to have this really sound, and then they're going to have a tremendous amount of skill. And you lose. There is no hero you can pick. There is no tactic you can devise that's going to overcome being worse. That's it. That's all there is to it. You will lose sometimes. And it's times like that where I have to go, like, that's when I do my nutty shit. Yeah. So don't fear that sometimes you're like, man, I'm trying to carry too much. Every now and then it's good to lift more than you can actually lift. It's not like the bar is gonna, you're not at some weight bench and the bar falls on you and you die, right? There's none of that. You just lose SR. So it's okay to like try really, really hard sometimes. Now the question is how do you crack open a defense? And now this is tough. This is where I really get into what I do and what I enjoy doing, is devising a tactic or something to break open a defense, and how do you do that? So one is, let's just say it's a choke point. So this happens a lot, right? There's a choke point, your team's on one side, their team's on the other. What are the things you can do? One, just get through the fucking choke point. Force resources off of the choke point, have them engage you, and that makes it easier for your team to go in. Technically, you're not expected to win these fights, you're just expected to pull resources off the choke point, and that's how you kind of open it up. Even if you die, it's about making it easier for your team. In fact, I would actually approve this strategy like on Hanamura Point 1. Just get through the fucking choke point, allow things to happen, and that's one way to attack the point. It's attacking indirectly. You can try to force yourself through it with your team, but that's hit or miss. You can just bash your head into a wall a lot. Try to get picks, something like that. You can just stay in the back lines and be annoying as shit. Try to open up with damage, trying to get anything out of that you can. You essentially have to be annoying as... Your job is to be as annoying as possible. It's tough to crack open a defense that's very well put together. Because what you're asking me is, you're asking me how to carry. Fuck, land your shots, right? It's a difficult thing to do tactically. Just because you're going up against 6 people that can all destroy you, right? Breaking the defense. That's what you've been struggling with lately? Yeah. So the old man way is to let the defense fall apart themselves. People will get greedy, but that's kind of... You're focusing a lot on them to make mistakes for you to do that, right? Because you're hoping they fuck up in some sort of way, which they will, but that's still... It's bad to learn that way, but knowing the actuality that that's how it is good to know. So how can you crack the defense? Pulling resources away from wherever the defense wants to be. Finding out key targets that are really like hampering your team from working. Are your tanks... And this is kind of like we get into the theoretical parts of Overwatch. Where we kind of have... We do have DPS. We have tanks. And we have supports. You kind of have to... analyze why is your team not working, and not hero wise. Just throw that out the window. You have to work with what your team has given you. So maybe can your tanks push up to create some sort of space for your DPS to get some damage off? If you can't, why can't your tanks push up? All right, there's going to be your first problem, right? Is it after you engage? Are their supports being more effective than your supports? Like, you just can't chip down, like your team doesn't have enough damage. Whoever is playing whatever hero, Like, don't blame the DPS for not being able to do much damage, but if your guys are unable to do enough damage, all right, maybe the supports are the issue. Are you guys just losing a skill versus skill battle? Are the DPS just crushing you? These are the things that you kind of gotta figure out what's wrong with the team, and then try to fill that niche. And if you want to fill that niche with Genji, then yeah, he definitely has ways of filling each of these niches. So that's kind of what you're at the point with, is analyzing, dissecting your own team, seeing what they lack, and how you can fill that lack of whatever as a Genji. If you seek to play only Genji, all heroes can fill all of these roles some way. You know, some more effective than others, but I think that's actually where I find the game most enjoyable. It's figuring out these very difficult ways to crack the defense. So this is the reviews. Yes, they always go up on YouTube. So Rakuna, the problem is you're saying you have a hard time attacking DPSs and tanks, which kind of leaves you only with supports. And I would assume this is just some kind of... Genji should be pretty good at... He can 1v1 a lot. I think most DPSs. Maybe playing a little bit more defensive sometimes, maybe aggressive other times. It's tough. It's so fucking tough. Yeah, you just need to be able to fight these one-on-ones better. And maybe that's where you're at. I don't know how long you've been playing, but maybe this is the time where you're plateauing and you're just feeling the hurt of the plateau. Right? Learning doesn't go like this, and it doesn't go like this either. Learning is just fucking like this. It's not all fucking up and you know, good news and sun shining and shit like that. I think maybe you're just hitting a plateau where the DPSs are finally at your skill level or whatnot. I see some players like Shadowburn play almost exclusively Genji, even in his pro games. You think a skilled enough player with Genji or anyone could pretty much one trick even at the highest levels? I definitely think there's an art to playing each character, and the only way to understand that art within great detail is to more or less one trick them. Do I see Genji as a character that can fight any other matchup? Yeah. Yes. Genji and Tracer are some of the two best heroes in Overwatch with the least amount of weak matchups. Not only do they have the least amount of weak matchups, the weak matchups they have aren't really that weak. So I do think with enough skill, you can do whatever you want on Genji. That's just all there is to it. I have... Like, if you really, like, grinded Genji and you got really, really good with them, I have no fucking doubts you could make it to the top 100 of the ladder. I have no qualms with that at all. I think you could do it. The problem is getting there. Docher says, I'm a Genji one trick at 4230. Yeah, and here's the thing. You're going to encounter problems. You're going to encounter people that are better than you. And the thing is I've encountered people better than me for 20 years now. In fact, this entire pyramid is what to do when someone's better than you. Skill-wise. How to fight when you're mechanically at a disadvantage. So I'm cool with being not the best. I just know how to dealing with the best. And that's why you see me play sometimes super defensive and super offensive. I'm a bit bipolar. It's just, when you smell weakness, rip everyone a fucking part. When not, back off. Like, let they have the advantage. Know that. You have to start respecting people. Especially good widows. Fucking A. Good widows, I fucking hate them. Terrifying. Terrifying creatures. So, Rakuna, I don't know if this has helped you at all. We're talking a lot of theory stuff. If you want a specific answer on how to crack open the defense's Genji, I would actually start looking at the wider scope of Overwatch and what you do for choke points, high ground, corners. These are the 3 areas that Overwatch fundamentals are based on. If you can understand those 3 things, you can be very good at Overwatch. Because open ground is a very, very difficult thing, and I guess I'll just say I'll say the same thing I always fucking say. If you have issues figuring out what to do in a big fight, especially King of the Hill, like you just dealt with, run out of fucking room. Fuck it, I'll use this. Pick a side. Pick a side. Just pick a fucking side. I don't care. Whatever. Pick a side. Cleave towards the center. That is my Chro's Junkrat tips or Overwatch tips 101. You want to make your life easier and simpler and just get better at Overwatch? Pick a side, cleave to the center. You pick a side. Why? All of this is safe. Okay, great. What are the variables I need? They're all in front of me. I can see them all. All right, then I can attack. That's it. Like, it just sets you up with the lowest amount of complications. It sets you up with the most amount of information, and then you kind of have to go from there. If you want to know how I play Junkrat, this is it. I do this every single map, every single point. I just know my rotations and my timing's down. Actually aiming for the top right now, so I guess I would have to improve on how to deal with many, many things. So I have to think about them one by one. Yeah, that's fine. As all you guys notice, whenever I talk about yin and yang, like, we perceive yin and yang to be 2 separate things. We got yin and we got yang. Right? If you want a gaming example of this, everyone says there's 2 types of aiming. They say there's tracking and there's twitch. Or flicking. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. This is all bullshit. There isn't 2 ways of aiming. There's 1 way. Do you know why? Does anyone know why the yin-yang shape is shaped like this? Are there any guesses? I've told you guys. Yin and yang. Yang is it's another way of pronouncing it. It's just what I've always pronounced it in my life. Does anyone know why it's shaped like this? Cycle. Ugh. There you go. Not only is it a cycle, but it's because god damn it. It's implying motion. Yeah, because it's cool looking. No, it's implying motion. Meaning, alright, it's cool that you can break something apart and analyze it. Alright, there's twitch aiming. Oh, there's tracking aiming. Alright, cool. The truth is that this is actually, in this case, it's orange, but it is, one side's white, one side's black. It's actually a big gray blur fucking spinning through the universe. Meaning, great, we have aiming, and it breaks off into flick and track. But truth be told, it actually goes back together and it makes just one thing called aiming. The truth is, there is no flicking, there is no tracking, there's just aiming. Why? Because this is when things are spinning. This is the practical use of it. This is the theoretical side, when we break it apart into flick and tracking. But the truth is that there's just aiming. This applies for everything. So it's cool to dissect things. Like, you want to be like, all right, how does this one-on-one work? All right, there's a 1v1. How does this work? All right, we'll analyze it. Look at it, figure it out. But then you have to understand that this thing is fucking spinning. And this one-on-one, while it's good to know, its application is actually more important. It's great to break things apart and analyze them. It's how humans learn. But remember to put it back together and fucking learn. Like, and just do. And this is why my biggest critique to anyone is like, hey, shut the fuck up and start playing. It's great to think about it. It's great to be a keyboard warrior and go on the forums and talk about it. But at a certain point, you have to shut the fuck up and you have to apply it. And if you can't apply it, then you need to shut the fuck up a lot longer ago and started playing more. Yeah. So, no, Rakuna, it's great if you break things apart. You start learning all the one-on-ones very specifically, very intimately. Just remember, hey, put it together, start playing again. Do you have any other questions? Because we got to get into the next one. Sorry, I just had a pizza delivered. Why is it shaped like that? It implies motion, meaning it's a gray blur spinning throughout the universe. Been playing since season 4, in case you were wondering. Well, season 4 seems like okay. I mean, that's a very relatively low amount of time. So yeah, you definitely have room to grow. Also, I missed a sub. I missed 2 subs, 3 subs, 4 subs. Fuck. So, let's replay these.
My genius is finally
Lumini Blue
recognized.
with the tier 1 subscription. Sorry, that was 39 minutes ago. I hope he's still with us. I hope he's just not pissed off in the corner. He's like, I didn't even get a shout out. No, you got a shout out, buddy. And then Progressive with the 9-month resub. He says, man, it's been a long time since that AMA you did that got me here. You stream a lot less now. Less than Divide Sign 3. Still glad to be here. Well, thank you, Progressive. Jolty 101. Not 101, he's 100.
My genius
Also
is
subscribe.
finally
Thank you so much, Jolty. I hope you're still around. Welcome to the Cronies. Welcome to the club. Enjoy your emotes. And then Tricky Dick. It's a 4-month resub. Tier 3, 4-month resub. He says, bitches ain't shit but fewies and tricks. Man, speaking the truth, man. Spitting the truth! Pop.
My genius
Thanks
is
again,
finally
Chro. On to the next one.
recognized.
Well, no problem, Rakuna. You're getting to the part where it's difficult. That's all I'm going to say. You're just getting to a difficult part. Answers are going to be a lot less precise. They're going to be a lot more theory and you applying that theory, which is fucking A. Applying theories fucking blows. I have a quick question. What do you think about people with competitive no mic? And also people that has mics but never gives info and